Welcome to this tutorial. My name is Ian and I'm going to be taking you through the tutorial. So far in our series of tutorials, we've built up our pivot tables with quite a bit of sophistication and also got some other calculations working. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how we can filter the data within a pivot table. If you've ever used Excel table filters, you're going to see it's very similar. But you're going to see it's extremely powerful with the different options that we've got. Please also make sure that you like and subscribe our channel so you can keep up to date with all the latest videos that we produce. But let's jump into the tutorial. I will see you there. Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to continue our series of tutorials that we're using for the online Excel pivot tables. So please, if you haven't done the previous tutorials, please have a look at them if you want to get up to scratch with where we are. So currently what we've got is we've got some fields that we've put into a pivot table, and we started to create some nice summarized and aggregated pivot tables in the previous tutorials. But what we're going to be looking at in this tutorial is how do we filter the data that we're using within our pivot tables. Okay, so we're going to continue. We're going to create a pivot table. So we're going to use our customer state. We're going to pop that into our rows. We're going to use our sales value and pop that into our values. Now just remember, if you want to format your values, just highlight all of your values, go to your home, go to your formatting. You can use your thousand separator and your decreased decimals to be able to do that. Again, we've covered this in previous tutorials, so please have a look at those if you're not sure on how to do your formatting. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got our different customer states, and let's just see, there we go, all of our customer states, we've got all of our sum of sales. Now, what if we wanted to filter this table to only show specific customer states? Now, what you're going to see is that we've got a little drop down next to customer state. And what this gives us access to is the ability to be able to sort and filter your data. Let's look at sorting first. So basically, if you wanted to change the sort order of your data, you could change sort ascending, which it currently is. You could say sort descending, and you'll see then it will do Z to A. You can also sort by your value. So if you wanted to go sort by value, it'll ask you, do you want to sort by your sum of sales? And again, smallest to largest or largest to smallest. And it will then change the sort order for you. So sorting, really easy to do. What you'll also notice, just to show you this, that if you go to your data, you'll also see that you've got sort orders here. So this will depend on where your cell value is. So if you put your cell into sum of sales, and then you say sort ascending, you'll see then we'll change the order to sort ascending. If you say sort descending, you'll see then the sort order will change. Okay, so let's pop it back into customer state, and we're going to say that we're going to sort ascending, just put it back into the order that it was. So that was just a quick overview of sorting, very easy to be able to do. Let's go back to this drop down though. If we click back on the drop down, and what you'll see is there's an option called filter here. So we're going to click on that, and it's going to bring up a list of all of the customer states that are currently in my pivot table. So let's say I only wanted to show some customer states. So let's say we only wanted to show those 4, click OK. And you'll see now it's filtered that, and my grand total is now changed to show only the filtered values. So really easy to be able to pick and choose which values you actually want. You could go back to this, you could add other values on there if you wanted to. What you can do as well is you can use the search if you're using a more customer states. So you could use a search in here. So let's say we wanted to find everything that had ID in it, for example. So you can see you got Florida, you got Idaho. And what we could do is we could say we want to add that current selection to the current filter. So when we click OK on that, you'll see now that those two get added. So that's just using the search facilities. So let's go back. Let's click back onto our filter. And you'll also see that we've got this ability to be able to use label filters and value filters. Okay, so I'm going to clear the filter from the customer state. If you do that, you'll see that all of those values will be removed. So basically the filter will be cleared. Let's go back to this, and let's say we want to use the label filter. Now what you will see is that you can find things that equal something, does not equal something, begins with, ends with, contains. So these are probably ones that you're used to seeing within your Excel. You'll also see that you can find values, you can find greater than, less than, and between. Now please remember, this is on your label filter. So this is only going to search within your row. Now this is useful if you've got a field that is a numeric field, maybe an employee ID, and you want to find values in the employee ID. But if you're looking for sum of sales, which we're going to look at just now, then we would use the value filters. Okay, so just make sure on label filters, you're not trying to filter your sum of sales using these. Okay, so let's say we want to find all of our customer states that begins with something. So let's say we're going to look for begins with new. You can say OK on that. And now you'll see that we've only got the customer states that begin with new. So this is really very easy to work with. You can go back to your label filter and you could say, I want to find contains. Remember, we did just that just now. We said ID. So anything that contains the letters ID. And we should come back with the 2. There we go, Florida and Idaho. So very easy to be able to use these, begins with and contains. Now what I do want to point out as well is if we go back to this data menu and you go back to your sort and filter, you'll see currently that filter is grayed out and we've got the clear button is available. So when we've got a filter, we can actually clear all our filters by coming up here. So we click on clear and there we go. We will see now that all the filters have been cleared. Okay, let's have a look at our value filters. So we're going to go back to our drop down. And in this case, we're going to go to value filters. So this is going to work with our summer sales. So let's say we want to find all of the customer states that had sales greater than 500,000. We'll go greater than 500. So you can see summer sales is. And here, if you wanted to change this, instead of using greater than, you wanted to use this less than, you could change it. But we're going to keep it as greater than, and we're going to say is 500,000. Click OK on that. And you should see that we get just the customer states with the greater than 500,000. So there we go, quite a lot of them. Let's say we want to find all customer states that are less than 500,000. So again, we'll click on our drop down, say value filters, less than. In this case, we're going to say 500,000. So I think you get the idea of this. Really easy to be able to work with your filters. If you wanted to, you could find all between values as well. So again, let's just go back to our value filters, use our drop down, and we're going to say between. And let's say we want to find everything that's between, say, 450,000 and 600,000. Just click OK. And then again, it will do the filter for us. So as you can see, very easy to be able to work with those. Now, the last type of filter I want to look at is called a top 10 filter. So you may want to find what is my, say, top 10 or top 5 or bottom 10 or bottom 5 customer states. So again, we can very easily do that. What we could do is we could just click on the filter here, go back to our value filters, go back to our top 10. And in this case, let's say we want to see the top 5 items by our sum of sales. Click OK. And that will then show us the top 5 customer states. There we go, we've got our top 5. Now please note that the sort order here means that you would have to change the sort order just if you want the highest first. Just remember, it currently is sorting with customer state and it's using A to Z for that sort. Let's say you wanted to see the bottom 5. You could go back to your value filters, top 10 again. This time we're going to say bottom. I'm going to say 5 items, summer sales, click OK. And this would then go and find the bottom 5. Now there is a different type of top 10 that you could do as well. You can actually find what customer states contribute, say, the top 20% of sales value. So what we could do for that is we just go back to this again and click on our filter, value filters, top 10. And let's say we want the top, but this time we're going to say top 20. And we're going to say we want our percentage. And have summer sales, click OK. And this will show me the customer states that contribute the top 20% of our summer sales. So there we go. Those are the top 4 that contribute the top 20%. If we were to say bottom 20%, let's probably see there'll be a few more customer states. Go back to top 10, go back to bottom 20%, click OK. And as I say, you'll probably find there's a few more customer states contribute the bottom 20% of values. There we go. Not too many more. So there we go. There's an overview of using our filters with our online Excel pivot tables. I'm going to conclude the tutorial there, but I will see you in the next one.